Welcome to TCI 10. In today's session, we're going to take a look at TCI tools for reading support. First, let's start with the reading level adjustment. This is only available in our middle school programs. Teachers and students have the option to change the Lexile level of the text. The level B text will reduce the Lexile level by 25%. So here we have a sample lesson from History Alive, the United States Through Industrialism, and you will see the icon at the top, select reading level. Here I have it already adjusted to level B. If I change that to level A, that is the on-level text. And then again, back to level B, where I've dropped the Lexile by 25%. Still staying within the middle school range, but I've made that adjustment to allow the text to be a little bit more accessible. Now, before we leave this, let's go to settings and to student features. And you will notice that I have the ability to set this up how I want it for my classes. So I can have the level A and level B available, or one or the other. And I can also edit that per individual student. The second tool we'll talk about is Read Aloud. Here, the text is read aloud as the sentences and words are highlighted. You'll see the play button icon here.
Creating the Constitution. What compromises emerged from the Constitutional Convention? Introduction. When the War for Independence ended, no one was happier or more worried about the United States' future than James Madison.
So that is the very simple Read Aloud tool that will read the text as well as highlight the sentence and the word as it's read. The third tool available is the main ideas. Here we're going to click on the star icon for the main ideas to show up in the text in bold purple color. We're also going to look at a little hidden gem here where the main ideas can be highlighted to appear in the My Notes section. So when I click on the main ideas and I scroll down, now I see the main ideas here in this bold purple color. Now, as we talk about highlighting, that's the next tool available. We're going to highlight some of these main ideas now. So in this case, we're simply asking students to highlight what has already been selected for the main ideas. Now, here's the really cool part about this. I've just highlighted a few main ideas. Over on the left in the reference section under My Notes, notice how these highlighted main ideas now appear in another section. We're going to come back and revisit the My Notes and see another hidden gem that you can use with My Notes in just a minute. So I've already started to dig into tool number 4, and that is the Show Highlights. So you have the ability here to highlight text in one of 6 colors. As I mentioned, these highlights will appear in the My Notes of the reference section. Now we're also going to look at how you can use the print icon in My Notes to make a PDF that essentially creates an adapted reading or study guide for students. So let's go back in and let's look at the highlighter again. The first time we looked at the highlighter was to simply highlight the main ideas. And that's an option that students have. But the highlighter can really be used to show highlights on any portion of the text. So I may determine that this is a really critical phrase here, and I might decide to highlight that in yellow. Now I can change those colors. I can develop a highlighting scheme. You can have one as a class where you decide as a class what the highlighting scheme will be. Maybe there are certain kinds of highlights that you want to be in pink or in purple. Maybe if there are unknown terms, for example, you might want to highlight those in a specific color, or you may have specific questions that you want students to highlight the answers to with different colors. Again, let's go back to my notes, and you'll notice now that these highlights have appeared along with some of the main ideas that I've already highlighted. Once again, here's a hidden gem. There's a print icon in the upper right that says print my notes. Now this will take just a second here to generate a new PDF file with nothing but my notes. And you can see it even leaves the highlights in the various colors if I've used a color scheme. But now essentially what I've done, and I've just done this briefly with the introduction section, is I've created a little adapted text for myself or a study guide for myself. Now, if we were to go through and we were to do this for all sections, in this case, there are 11 sections and a summary along with some reading further, all of those highlights would show up in this newly created PDF file. So now, rather than even reading the whole text, I could simply ask students to go in, quickly highlight the main ideas, and then pull up this file. In some cases, the main ideas may be really what you need for a particular lesson. In other cases, you may want students to be able to read the entire text. It really depends on your goal and purpose. But the idea behind all of these tools is to show you how you can adapt and have students adapt the readings and work through those readings with the tools. So let's go back in here and look at tool number 5, and that is the ability to add note. Here, this will add a text box at the top that allows students to add in notes. This will also appear in the My Notes section along with the highlighted text. So let's go back into our platform. And in this case, the add note feature is only available if you are in student mode. So I'm actually going to just look at this from a demo student perspective. Otherwise, you'll see the platform there with these tools is basically the same. But this is one area where there's a difference here in that the student only has the ability or only the student has the ability to add note. And so that just appears right at the top, and I may add some important information here. Now, students can add anything they want in this text. It may be that as a teacher, I have some questions up on the board, or I've given them a handout with some questions that I want them to answer, or some specific kinds of annotations that I want them to add in this top box. And again, just like with our highlights, that will also show up in the My Notes section. So I started a new section here, but you can see where I have this add important information. Now, if I had highlighted this chapter already as a student, those highlights would show up here as well. So again, another important feature that can help to use that My Notes section to really condense down the information and so that students have quicker access to that information. TCI tool number 6 is to look at vocabulary. The key terms for vocabulary are defined in line by clicking on the word itself, and TCI also provides vocabulary cards. So let's take a look at those tools for vocabulary. So we need to go into a section here that has some new terms, and you can see disputes. If I just click on the word disputes, it tells me that it's a strong disagreement. Again, articles of confederation, anything that is highlighted, underlined here, that is a key term. Now, I can access vocabulary flip cards in a couple of different ways. If I go back to the home section here and I click anywhere where it says social studies vocabulary, these are the flip cards. So those same key terms, I can flip those over and practice the vocabulary here. You'll see the icon here that says share. I could also use this link in my learning management system to send them right there. So there's a variety of ways in which students can access those flip cards. So those are the 6 tools for TCI support. I want to just point out before we leave that there are some additional supports here in the toolkits, and those show up only on the teacher dashboard. So you will find some additional tools, and these are in PDF files, and those will be found under the support icon. So these are some more hidden gems, and you'll see the skills and toolkits, and you will notice some additional ELA, ELD supports here.